Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook and YouTube. So if you are joining us from either of those places, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment down below. Hopefully I'll be able to address everything as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can address anything individually for you. So let's get started here with a look at our headlines. What are we tracking out through the rest of the night tonight? Well, we did have some of that patchy cloud cover move in earlier this evening. That will continue to clear out of here overnight tonight, and that'll lead us in to a sunny day, a sunny start for our work week on Monday, and temperatures are going to start to warm up above average beginning tomorrow, and it looks like we'll stay warmer through the end of the work week as some showers and even some thunderstorms move through Thursday and into Friday. So let's get started with a look at our setup across the U.S. Well, today we had high pressure kind of gradually sliding to our east. It's that eastward motion of the high pressure that's going to allow us to actually warm up starting tomorrow because winds will be coming up out of the south. But outside of the high pressure system, we've got this area of low pressure that's sliding up through the Great Lakes region that's providing a quick hit of snow in portions of Michigan and Minnesota. But here in the tri-state, we've just got some of those higher level clouds continuing to filter in from the west, but it looks like the back edge of that cloud cover kind of now pushing into southern Illinois, so we'll start to clear out of here quickly over the next couple of hours, and we'll return to mostly clear skies overnight tonight. And temperatures earlier today, we saw plenty of sunshine. They warmed all the way back up into the low to mid 40s for many of us. It felt wonderful out there. Hopefully you're able to get outside and take advantage of it. 45 degrees here in Evansville, nearly 50 to our south there in Bowling Green, and of course to our north a bit cooler, 32 up towards Fort Wayne. Now we've all cooled down a good bit since this afternoon. Now that the sun is set, we're sitting mostly in the low to mid 30s right now. 33 in Oakland City and Huntingburg, 35 in Evansville and Newburgh, sitting at around 34 in Greenville. And the cold spot on the map seems to be Dundee, 31 degrees at this hour. And we'll continue to cool down into the upper 20s to lower 30s through the rest of the night tonight. And again, staying mostly clear after midnight tonight, and that'll lead us into a very sunny start to the work week. But looking at that forecast tomorrow, temperatures climb back up into the mid 50s, so a very mild day, above average. Our average highs are typically in the lower 40s for this time of year, so we'll be well above that. And winds, notice that they're going to be out of the southwest between 5 to 10 miles per hour, so that's what's going to help kind of push in that warmer air from the south. And it doesn't just stop on Monday. It continues through the rest of the work week, and we get even warmer by the middle and end of next week. And it looks like we continue to remain pretty warm here through the middle of the month of January. And so here's a look at our 7-day temperature trend. So we were on par with our average highs yesterday and today in the lower to mid 40s. Now we're going to be well above that tomorrow, 56 for our high, climbing up into the lower 60s by the time we're into Tuesday, and then we'll hang out in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees through the middle and end of next week. And then you'll notice we'll start to cool back down by the time we get into next weekend, dropping down out of the 60s and back down into the 40s. So you'll notice we also got that chance for some rain. It's going to be fairly quiet in the week ahead up until Thursday. That's going to be our best chance. We'll have an area of low pressure slide through. We'll have a warm front lift through on Thursday, and then the cold front clears the area on Friday. So it looks like 2 potential days of some showers and a few thunderstorms. But here's kind of what that looks like on the longer range European model. So we do still have an area of low pressure that will pass to our north on Tuesday. That will slide a cold front through. We may get a sprinkle out of that, but it looks like the best chances are going to be off to our east. And then we'll stay dry through Wednesday with increasing cloud cover, and then we'll start to see the chance for some showers increasing through Thursday morning as that warm front lifts northward, and then we'll hold on to the chance for scattered showers through the day on Thursday before that cold front actually moves in through Friday morning and clearing out of here by Friday afternoon. And then we'll start to cool off and dry out through next weekend. So in terms of rainfall amounts, we could pick up a good dose of rain with this system. Anywhere between 3/4 to an inch is possible, and there could even be pockets greater than an inch depending on just how heavy that storm or shower is that passes over your specific location. Now, I do know a lot of folks are probably wondering if there's any sort of severe weather threat with this particular system, and I do want to say it's a little bit too early to pin down that kind of threat, but with the chance for thunderstorms, I can never completely rule out a lower end severe weather risk, so an isolated severe storm can't be ruled out Thursday or Friday, but the details are just not that clear yet. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it over the next couple of days, but if anything gets a little bit more menacing looking, of course, we'll let you know and we'll pop an alert day on there. But as of now, it looks like mostly just rain, showers, and some rumbles of thunder. And then, of course, we'll kind of break down those details a little bit more once we get closer. But behind that, we will cool down and dry out. 46 by Saturday and only around 40 degrees by the time we get into Sunday. But let me go ahead and check out some of the comments. Looks like we've got Jeanette. She's saying good evening. Good evening to you as well. Suzanne, good evening. Good evening to Lenny. Zach is asking about the severe weather this week that I just explained. As of right now, doesn't seem like it would be a severe weather outbreak, Zach. It just mostly would be thunderstorms, maybe an isolated chance for a severe storm. Cheyenne says good evening. Calvin's asking, will it be a cold winter or a warm winter? Well, at least for the rest of the next couple of weeks, it looks like we'll stay on the warmer side here. There's a lot of different teleconnections or other different atmospheric modes that you kind of have to keep track of only on a week-by-week basis. So a little bit harder to predict for the entire winter if we're going to be cold or warm. But I think at least for the next couple of weeks, we'll trend on the warmer side here. Angela says, good evening, Ashlyn. Good evening to you, and good evening to you, Paula. So that's all I'm seeing for questions or comments so far. But before I go, I talked about this yesterday, but it's always fun to bring up this time of year. We're talking about the daylight change by month now. So as we enter the month of January, here in the Tri-State, we pick up around 40 minutes of daylight. So today, our sunset was around 4:37, or it was in the 4 o'clock hour. And by the time we get to the end of this month, we're actually going to see that sunset fully within the 5 o'clock hour. So brighter days are ahead of us here, but I do kind of want to take you through each month and show you the change in daylight that we see. So February, by the time we get into next month, we could be picking up around an hour, or additional hour of sunlight here in the Tri-State, but it looks like March is the month where we see the most increase in daylight hours, partly because we see that switch from standard time to daylight savings time, and of course that increases our chance of seeing that daylight a little bit later in the day. But we pick up around an hour and 10 minutes of additional daylight in March here in the Tri-State, and then 2 hour north all the way up into the northern plains in the northern tier of the United States, they pick up an additional hour and 40 minutes of daylight in the month of March. And of course, as we go through the spring and the summer months, we don't lose daylight, but the rate in which we increase our daylight starts to decrease. So while we'll still see later sunsets through spring and even into summer, it's not until July that we actually start to lose daylight once again. As soon as we reach the summer solstice, it's kind of like the longest day and kind of the beginning of the end of summer there, if you think about it like that, because we do start to lose daylight immediately there. And it looks like we see the most loss in daylight in the month of August and September. We lose about an hour for each month here in the Tri-State, and the same thing there in October. And then, of course, it gets a little bit better as we get farther and farther into the fall. But I just like to show you guys that. I know a lot of us get some seasonal depression, and the lack of daylight really gets you. So you just got to hold out for another month or two. Even just by the end of this month, you're going to notice that sunlight hanging around a little bit longer. So that is all I've got here for the weather show. Taking one more look at the comments. Ashlyn asking how we are doing. Bet y'all are keeping busy. Yes, we are. Thank you for asking, Ashlyn. Teresa says, thank you for the weather update. Nicolette saying, everybody's going to be sick. I agree. We're going to probably see lots of cases of the cold here with these temperature swings. Hello from Oakland City, says Kevin. And then Chris, he's always looking ahead to those warmer temperatures. He says they're looking good for me, and they're looking good for me as well. But that's all I've got here for the weather show. I'm going to hop off the live stream, and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your day.